Hmm. Okay. That's my cat sitting right there. His name is Wilbert. But, okay. So we're gonna talk about... We're gonna talk about The Legend of Zelda. So I guess I'll just go into that right now. So, the first game came out on the Nintendo Entertainment System in 1986. And... I'm not sure what I feel about it, to be honest. It is... There are aspects I like about it. The freedom of it I like, but at the same time there is an optimal route pretty much that goes through the game, going to the easiest dungeons and getting the most amount of equipment you can as early as possible. So the game has just been optimized, so the freedom for me feels a bit like pointless, I'd say. Like, for more RPG type games, if there's just one route you can take that's just the most optimal completely, and there's just no reason to even mix it up at all, then for me, the whole free world aspect of it is like pointless, just for me, just because of how I play games. Maybe not for other people, but for me specifically. If there's just one optimal route that I can take that just gets me the most items the fastest and is the safest to take, then I will take it. You know? That's just how I play. I mean, unless there's some story reason, I don't plan on changing my route. So for me, in the case of Zelda 1, you know, the openness of its world isn't the most important to me. You know? Like, because there's already been an optimized route to go through the game. So for me, I just play through it as a walkthrough plays through it. So, playing through it the way I do. Wouldn't say... I mean, I've only beaten it once. And I didn't mind it, to be honest. Like, for me, it's a game that when I play it, I can enjoy some aspects of it, but there are other things I don't like about it, and the main things that I don't like about it just alienate me from coming back to it. Like, its limited, you know, design. Offensively, I find that the game is sort of... I mean, I'm not the biggest fan of combat, because I feel like the sword... There's too much emphasis placed on the sword, you know? Other weapons aren't as powerful. I like bombs in the game, but I feel that they're too limited in what they can be used against in comparison, because the sword is just, you know, more powerful in that case. And I feel like this is a problem with every 2D Zelda, actually, is that I think the bombs are too weak, but then the 3D Zelda, I have a problem with bombs as well, if you ask me, being that they're more awkward to aim, I'd say, but depending on the game, I can get more use out of them. Like a Majora's Mask, I can get plenty of use out of them, I'd say, but in a game like Wind Waker, I never use them offensively, except for, like, naval battles and the cannon and whatnot, right? But that is, like, a case-by-case basis and whatnot. Zelda 1, I like how bombs work. I think they're some of the most useful bombs in the series, but the sword, I feel, you know... Because my problem is I don't really like the sword in Zelda 1. It's not really satisfying to use, in my opinion. Not as much. I love the sword in Link to the Past and whatnot, but Zelda 1, you know, I don't have as much fun with it. I don't like the bow in Zelda 1. I never use the bow. I like the boomerang combined with the sword, but I prefer that in other games. Overall, I find that the strategy for taking out enemies is adequate, not exactly to my liking, but you know, it's a game for me that like I said, there are things I like about it and things I don't like about it. And the things I don't like about it, while pretty minor, I'd say, to stop me from replaying it. Like the things I don't like about it are like around the level of nitpick, I'd say. But just because they're there, I don't like playing them. Because the thing with me is Zelda 1, all the things I don't like about it aren't in Link to the Past. So I just play Link to the Past instead. And Link to the Past just improves on what I liked. So for me, Zelda 1 not only feels archaic to me, but just sort of unnecessary, because Link to the Past for me just gives, you know, like, everything that I want, you know, improves everything that I want out of it. Like, the thing with it is, like, you know, people say Link to the Past, they don't like it as much as, like, Zelda 1 or something, or at least they don't like the linearity of Link to the Past, and I can understand that critique. The only thing is, like, as I said, Zelda 1, despite how open world it is, has an optimal route, which means if you're like me and only take the optimal route, the freeness in the world is sort of just overwritten, you know? It just becomes like one way to go, and that's how I do it. So Link to the Past, there's less variance in the path you can take, but because I just like the game more overall in terms of combat, you know, control, play, music, like, pretty much everything, I'd say. You know, I just play Link to the Past more. I love Link to the Past. Link to the Past is one of my favorite games. One of my favorite Zelda games. It's in my top 3 Zelda games. Because with Zelda, I don't have a specific favorite game, actually. It's like, I have like a top 3, which is like Link to the Past, Majora's Mask, and Wind Waker. I love them all, and I, you know, love them for different reasons, so I just, you know, if someone asks me what's my favorite Zelda game, I just say I have like a top 3. That's what it is. I love all those. I can't choose which one I like more, because I like them for different reasons. So, Zelda 2. Now, I actually like Zelda 2. Zelda 2 is one of my favorite NES games. If not my favorite NES game, yes, I'm saying this. Like, in terms of my favorite NES games, you got like Mario 3, you have like Mega Man 1, you have like Super Mario Brothers, and Zelda 2. Like, I love Zelda 2, seriously. You know, the internet hates it or whatever because they find it difficult, but I love it. I absolutely love it. I love its style of combat, I love the difficulty and enemy pattern, I love the level design. You know, it's more cryptic than Zelda 1, but it's less open world, which means that the route you take is pretty fixed, I'd say, for the most part. I love its soundtrack, I love its graphics. I just like Zelda 2. I guess I'll give like a number rating for each of these games. So Zelda 1 for me is like a 5.0, I'd say. Zelda 2 is like a 7.5 for me. Yeah. 7.5, I'd say. Link to the Past is like 10 out of 10 for me. I mean, I already sort of covered what it is with Link to the Past, actually, you know, with like my previous critique. I'm trying to go through this pretty fast, I'd say. Don't really think I have much more to say than what I did say. And I can go into more detail, but for me it'd be a bit redundant, because, you know, summing it up, that's pretty much what I have to say about Link to the Past. All the things I liked about Zelda 1 improved. All the things I didn't like about Zelda 1 taken out. I just love pretty much all of its basic aspects, I'd say. Very few things I don't like about it, I'd say. You know, just 10 out of 10. Yeah, love it. You know, not saying it's perfect by giving it a 10 out of 10. I don't give a 10 out of 10 to mean it's perfect. For me, I give a 10 out of 10 to say that all of the aspects I judge in it are at a status I consider above average, and they are all, you know, all the aspects I judge in it I consider above average. That's a 10 out of 10 for me. Yeah. So for me, like, a 7 out of 10 would be like, if I were to judge 5 aspects, 2 of them would be above average, and then the other 3 would be good, and then, you know, you increase it. Like, you increase the amount of things I consider above average as it goes. For an example, because the amount of things I judge in a game depend on the game itself and how much content it has. Like, I'm not gonna judge, like, we'll just say, like, Grand Theft Auto, Vice City, or whatever, on the same level as, like, Mario 2 USA or something, you know? Like, one has more content and more things to say than the other, so I'm going to judge more things out of one than the other, you know? So, that's just an example, though. And that's just how I take it. You can take your rating systems how you want. So, okay. So, you have, like, Link's Awakening, which I've played, like, barely any of, I'd say, but I've seen multiple Let's Plays of it and whatnot, and to be honest, looks good in my opinion. As for how it handles, I like how it handles. Main thing I don't like about it is what they did with the shield. I love how the shield works in Link to the Past. Absolutely love that, and for me, they carry this on like the Minish Cap and whatnot. I just don't like the idea of using your shield to just, like, you press the button and just defend, like, 3D titles. I don't like that. I don't like that, sorry to say. I loved how the shield worked in Link to the Past. It's just about positioning, you know, it's just about being aware of your surroundings. For me, like, you know, them neutering the shield the way they did in Link's Awakening, I don't even bother with that. I just go for avoidance, which for me, well, you know, it limits your options defensively, which I don't like. That, like, you know, limits how I can play combatively, which I don't like when it does that, especially for, like, a Zelda game and whatnot. The level design for me is sort of, I mean, it's sort of bland, I'd say, just compared to Link to the Past, but for me, it's a game that I think is good, but not great, you know? Like, if I were to judge those aspects that I mentioned before, it'll be good for me, you know? Like, it'd be good, you know? It's good for me. I think it's good. I don't think it's great in really anything. I mean, yeah, like, to me it's average and good, and I enjoy it, and, you know, 6.0. You know, I've played a minimal amount of it, so, you know, keep in mind, I haven't played all of these. I have exposure to all of them, I've researched all of them, yeah, but I haven't played all of them. And yes, I do believe you can have an opinion on a video game if you haven't actually played it and you've just researched it, you know. So for those who say that, you know, that's how you see things, is how I see things. And this isn't like a concrete, never will change ever again opinion either. I can make follow-ups to this, I can, you know, say what I want about, you know, these games in the future. This is just sort of an overview of the Zelda series for me, just to sort of just show what I feel about it, as an example, because I can do this for, like, all kinds of other series as well. So, that was Link's Awakening. And now we're gonna have Oot, I believe. Yeah. Oh, well, there's the CDI games. Okay, so the CDI games. I think the CDI games actually came before Link's Awakening, because I think Link's Awakening was 1995. And there was also, oh god, what was that? What was that called? I don't remember what it was called, because I have limited exposure to it. But it's that, like, Zelda 1-esque remake thing, using Link to the Past's engine on that, like, Super Nintendo add-on that was, like, barely released and used, like, radio channels to, like, broadcast games or whatever. Which is why people didn't really play that, because that is just, you know, too gimmicky for people to even process or care about. Which I don't blame them. Sega tried the same thing and failed. Twice, I think. Well, that, like, Zelda game, like the Super Nintendo broadcast radio thing, Zelda 1 remake-esque thing, I don't have experience with. I mean, it looks sort of cool to me, but I don't have experience with it. I have limited knowledge of it, as you may know. I haven't researched it. I don't even know its name, so I just know it in concept. I've seen some footage of it, but I honestly have struggled finding footage of it, you know, to be honest. So I don't really know about it, really, I'd say. So, I mean, I think the idea of a Zelda 1 remake is excellent. I think it should have been revisited, because I think a Zelda 1 remake has all kinds of potential. But, yeah. So, CDI games. The cutscenes, I think, are quite, infamous by this point, by, the heart of YouTube poops and whatnot. But overall, I don't like the games. I don't like the games. I don't... I haven't played them, but of the gameplay I've seen of them, they look not... I don't like how they're designed. I don't like how you need to keep constantly buying ropes. I don't like the lantern oil system. I don't like the level design. Like, I don't like the way pits are placed. I don't like collision detection in the game, because it's difficult to tell what is where due to the graphical style, which I don't really like the graphical style either in game. The CDI's controls, with all the remotes, the only remote that, like, resembles, like, a Super Nintendo or Genesis controller. You need to press up to jump, and then there's no, like, start button, so you press, like, down, and, like, the special button to do, like, to open your inventory, and it's the only way to pause the game, and if you, like, do it with the wrong presses, you can end up wasting one of your, consumable items, and you need to collect rupees by stabbing them, and blah, 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 blah. A lot of problems, I'd say. Like 3.5 out of 10. Yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say. I mean, like, there's that other one that has, like, Zelda, like Zelda's Adventure and whatnot. Different problems, but I don't like it. I haven't researched that one as much, actually. I don't like its structure and whatnot. I don't like the loading screens. I don't like the movement. I don't like the combat. But that one I don't know as much about. Okay, so now it's Oot. I used to, like, go through sort of a phase where I liked Oot, thought it was good, and then I sort of thought Oot was, like, meh. And now I think Oot is good. Ocarina of Time, by the way, if you don't know what I'm saying. But I think I like Oot. I like Oot. I have fun with it. For me, it's a game that I just like it. I have fun with it. I find it fun to play, but best game of all time and whatnot? Absolutely not. Here's one thing I'll say with, critiquing games for me. Just because something was revolutionary, for me, doesn't mean that it's a system that is above others. If others took a system that was inspired from one game, and, in my opinion, used that system in a better way, then I think that system was used in a better way. I'm not going to say, well, that system that I think was improved doesn't deserve as much credit because it was taken from this other system. What I think is good, regardless of where it came from. So, Ocarina of Time, despite all of its revolutionary, gameplay decisions, I think there are games that used its systems better than it did. So, just because Ocarina of Time is the origin of some of these systems doesn't mean, to me, that Ocarina of Time deserves to be given more praise than these, these systems that I think were adapted better. For me, Ocarina of Time is like an 8.0. It's fun for me. I enjoy playing it, but that's what it is. I just like it. I like its movement. I like its combat. I like it, but I don't love it, a lot, I'd say. For me, there are some things I don't like about it, and those are mostly nitpicks, I'd say, but for me, it's just good. For me, it's like above average, enjoyable. That's what it is, sorry to say, Revolutionary, yes, but revolutionary in gaming doesn't mean that it's... For me, revolutionary is, like, important to things outside of games, not really games themselves, like the actual games. That's what I have to say about Ocarina of Time for now. There's much more I have to say about that, I'd say, but not right now. Okay, so we got like 3 minutes left, not what I expected. I guess I'll have to make a part 2 to this. Anyway, so, Majora's Mask. This is one of my favorite games. I love Majora's Mask. I love Majora's Mask. I absolutely love it. It is... I love the combat. You know, I love the plot. Usually not something I love for a Zelda game. I usually find Zelda plots quite meh, I'd say. But I love the plot of Majora's Mask. I love the graphical style. I love the soundtrack. I just love it. You know, I pretty much love almost everything about it, I'd say. You know, I love the time management. I love management in games, and for me, Majora's Mask is one of the funnest games for me to play just because of how I've optimized playing with the time to my advantage to get the most amount of things done in one 3-day cycle. I love that. Now, actually, yeah, that's the main thing is I love about Majora's Mask. I don't really like Majora's Mask 3D as much because they, like, toned down the boss fights for me, extended how long they took, relativized the amount of damage each boss would take, you know, made them all into just the basic, very basic, like, boss style of other Zelda games, I'd say, where you just sort of, like, hit them with a dungeon item or whatever, and then they go into a vulnerable position, and you can hit them 3 times, and you hit them 3 times, and then they're dead. I don't like what Majora's Mask did with the boss fights. I don't like what it did. Well, Majora's Mask 3D, I don't like what it did like other things. Like, I don't like how... Well... Oh, what was it? What was the critique? What was the critique? Well, there was, like, the fact that you can change time using the Song of Double Time. I'm okay with that, but, they also changed some side quests, which I didn't like at all. I did not like how they changed certain side quests. You know, I'm, like, struggling to think about it right now, because this is going fast, and the video is, like, almost out of time, so I'm just sort of, like, sitting here. Anyway, I think I'll just come back to this next part, you know, before I run out of things to think about. Yeah.